NTA and corruption in the utilization of funds given in the past, adding that there is now a breath of fresh air under President Buhari's leadership and fight against corruption, and they were willing to close the books of the past and look into future support. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, who was also at the event, disclosed that those indicted in the audit of the donor funds in the past, which was done between 2010 and 2015, had already been questioned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and would be arraigned in court soon. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has charged staff of the Nigerian embassy in Spain to remain loyal and patriotic in the service to their fatherland. The minister was speaking when he visited the Nigerian embassy in Madrid, Spain. Anthony Folsom has details.
Briefing the embassy staff on the achievements of the President Buhari-led administration, the minister said government is aware of the pains the citizens are going through, but assured that it won't be long, Nigerians will smile again.
What we believe in that the government is a government for all Nigerians. No part of Nigeria will be marginalized. Economic development would go around everybody.
He said the president is systematically working to revamp the economy, ensure that security is sustained, while families on their own can afford to feed and live well.
Respectively in Nigeria. These suggest that over 20 million people live with the virus in the country, and despite the high prevalence of these diseases, most people infected are unaware. To arrest the situation, a 5-year national strategic plan covering 2016 to 2020 and the national guidelines for the control of the disease in Nigeria was launched as part of events marking the day.
It is my sincere belief that operationalization of these documents by all stakeholders will provide the required platform for the attainment of the goal of reducing mortality and morbidity from viral hepatitis, and also its socio-economic impact on Nigeria and Nigerians.
Goodwill messages from representatives of different donor agencies applauded the move by the ministry. While marking the day with the rest of the world, development partners re-emphasized the dire need to mobilize global response to the silent killer hepatitis on a scale similar, if not more than that generated to fight others like HIV and AIDS and tuberculosis. From the Federal Ministry of Health headquarters, Abuja, I'm Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Back in Nigeria, Nigeria has one of the most favorable and investor-friendly legal framework which guarantees investment and repatriation of proceeds. This was part of submissions of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, when he met some investors at a business forum in Potsdam, Germany. Teresa Wabalba reports.
A lot of German investors have been curious to understand the Nigerian business environment. This is because most of the information they get about doing business in Nigeria are not reliable, and that explains why many businessmen have been holding back. To demystify and put the record straight, Nigeria's Attorney General, who attended the German-Nigerian Business Forum, had to explain the position of Nigeria's business legal framework.
The legal framework is there is a consistency of policy, and then there exists the political goodwill on the part of the government to keep to international best
to ensure that they produce thoroughbred lawyers that would maintain highest level of discipline as well as professionalism.
It is time to think out of the box and embrace legal education that transcends the conventional, that is not restricted to the brick walls of the classroom.
I want to urge all of you not to be despondent. Initial challenges you may be facing.
In his lecture titled Legal Education and the Future of Nigerian Legal System, Joseph Bamigboye, a senior advocate of Nigeria, stressed the importance of close monitoring of prospective lawyers to get rid of those that will smear the reputation of the noble profession.
It is clear that for a sound legal education and legal system, a sound knowledge of the law on one hand and adherence to integrity, character, and good conduct and decorum on the other are the twin pillars.
But at a moment like this, when the world is faced with all forms of social and moral vices, the students of law have chosen the path of honor.
Some distinguished Nigerians were recognized for their contribution toward the development of the legal profession, as well as the unveiling of the Kano Agabi National Moot Court competition. Chukunonso Nwabueze, NTA News.
A look at security now. The need for a review of public information strategy and continued synergy between the armed forces and the media in the face of Nigeria's national life has again been stressed. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this in a message to the 2016 Defense Correspondence Seminar in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, Ayotunde Adeshuba, described capacity-building programs as valuable tools to promote the understanding of concerned stakeholders in the management of security information and the peculiarity of their responsibility.
It is my hope that more of such initiatives will be organized not only to broaden the knowledge and capacity of our media practitioners, but to also explore opportunities for more collaboration and synergy between the media and the security agencies.
Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, speaking on the theme, says the foregoing suggests that a nexus exists between media reportage and national security, and also reveals a deep understanding of the indispensable role of the media in crisis management, conflict resolution, peace and nation building.
It is therefore incumbent on all stakeholders in the national security and allied sectors to assist defense media practitioners to build human and institutional capacity to facilitate their effective performance and goal attainment.
The theme for the 2016 Defense Correspondent Seminar is constructive reportage as an ingredient for national security and integration. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishaki, has reiterated the commitment of the Nigerian Armed Forces in curbing terrorism and criminal activities in the country. He made this statement during a lecture to the participants of Course 24 at the National Defense College. Obiagelu Goke tells us more.
The graduates of Course 24 are about 200 officers in 2 badges. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, challenged participants to evolve pragmatic approach to leadership as a panacea to solving the security challenges in the country. The paper, titled "The New Approach to Leadership in the Armed Forces of Nigeria," provides solution to other security issues.
With the modern approach we have employed is that the distinction is almost removed, so that the effort of the strategic level commanders are felt by the tactical level. So what we did was, when we came on board, we ensured that we interface with all these levels to ensure that they do their job.
Should that be to be a good leader, an efficient leader that will always achieve desired results?
It is expected that the knowledge gained from the course will enhance service delivery in the various appointments of the participants. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation says it is partnering with Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Central Bank of Nigeria in tackling the lingering scarcity of Jet A1 fuel, causing disruption of flight operations across the country. Minister of State Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, stated this while on a facility tour of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
On arrival at the local wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the Minister of State Aviation, Hadi Sirika, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Ibe Kachuku spoke on the synergy between both ministries and the Central Bank of Nigeria in tackling the jet A1 scarcity.
It's not only squarely on the shoulders of the Ministry of Petroleum. They are doing their best to discharge their responsibility, but some of the challenges are also domiciled in Central Bank of Nigeria for the scarcity of foreign exchange. That is also being addressed.
And I'm doing everything that I can to look at countries where the immediate availability of Jet A1 to just solve the intermittent problem. Long term, obviously, we're also looking at repairing some of our jet fuel producing facilities in the refinery.
After inspecting the ongoing rehabilitation of the 3.6-kilometer runway, Hadi Sirika reiterated that the central focus of the Buhari administration in the transport sector is to ensure it is safe and in conformity with global best practices. He added that the federal government is driving towards a concession of the Lagos, Abuja, Kano and Port Harcourt airports through public-private partnership.
So we will go ahead with the concession of our airports, and Abuja will be one of them, through PPP, I must emphasize, so that ultimately the asset comes back to the people.
From the local wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, growing concerns over the lingering aviation fuel crisis in Nigeria and its consequences on air travels has necessitated the clamor by experts and other stakeholders for an immediate remedy by the government. This line of argument was brought to the fore on NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
The protracted scarcity of aviation fuel is an issue which the guests are all too familiar with. They are mostly active players in the sector who understand the situation will continue to disrupt airline operations if not immediately addressed by the relevant authorities.
If the majority of the sales you are making is for domestic or international, maybe 50-50. If 50% are paying in dollars, you get that 50% in dollars to be able to pay your supplier in dollars.
There is a temporary problem. The solution is going to come. The fuel marketers want to make money. They're in business. The airline operators are in business to make money too. Our sympathy as the regulator is to the traveling passengers.
If the problem is not resolved by the ministers, CBN and the marketers, in the next 1 month, you won't see any commercial plane domestic flying in Nigeria.
Former Commandant Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Group Captain John Ojikutu, is however calling for a total overhaul of the aviation sector, especially the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, for optimal performance.
One of the problems we are going to face with this fuel now is that if you push the marketers too much now, they will start mixing fuel like somebody said. We had cases where they have been selling kerosene as aviation fuel. We had cases of aircraft that have crashed because of this type of thing. We must be very strict in this industry so that this industry must survive.
The guests all want speedy government attention to tackling the current crisis in order to save the aviation industry from total collapse. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. We have more news for you after this break.
NTA International. This is where the news begins. Every breaking news and development on the African continent.
Welcome to NTA International News. State House correspondent Hamza Musa.
In-depth news analysis and professional perspectives on all sides of the story.
Experts say the issue of
national
security
energies
is
and resources must be
Nigeria's
mobilized to
federal
promote
executive.
Every day on NTA International, we take you inside Africa and the world.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Strategic implementation of development programs and policies in Nigeria has been identified as critical for fostering growth and sustainable development. This came to the fore at the conference of the Institute of Strategic Management Nigeria in Abuja. Uchenwizu reports.
Speaking on the theme, strategy as an anchor of change, speakers say it's in line with the present administration's change mantra, explaining that lack of strategic implementation of development policies is why Nigeria still battles with poverty and hardship despite its rich natural resources, green vegetation and cultural diversity.
All over the world, 70% of all change efforts have failed as a result of poor strategy.
We hope we'll be able to join hands with government to be able to walk through and walk towards the change Nigeria deserves at this time.
This, the government agreed, will go a long way in helping to actualize its goals.
For government, coordination is key. It will bring us efficiency gains, it will ensure that our results have impact, and more importantly, it brings a synergy that actually gives quality to the policies and plans that we have.
With committed leadership and seriousness of purpose, Nigeria will become a model for global economic development.
The forum is to last for 3 days. Uchenwizu, NTA News.
Chairman-elect of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON, John Momoh, wants electoral bodies to learn from the manner at which BON's election was conducted. Adebola Brixlin Sunday reports on this and other issues at the election.
Alhaji Dahatu Abbas, Mr. John Momoh.
Conducted under a viral atmosphere, John Momoh polled 51 votes to defeat his contender, the managing director of Freedom Radio Group, Abbas Dahatu, who polled 12 out of the 63 votes cast.
But for us to have conducted it in this manner, very, very, very calm, quiet, free of any violence, free of any skirmishes, free of any rancor or bitterness, I think we need to applaud ourselves.
The outgoing chairman and director general of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, says BON will continue to practice what it preaches to meet international best practices.
Headed south, to talk to others, to appeal to others, to get it right. And when and if they don't get it right, will be morally justified to point out their faux pas.
Other executives speak on some challenges facing the industry and the way forward.
The advertising agencies owe us 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, 1 year.
We look forward with hope that better days are coming.
The Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, is expected to hand over power to the incoming chairman, John Momoh, in December 2016. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Chinese government says it will collaborate with the federal government to establish and strengthen skills acquisition centers for Nigerian youths. Cultural Counselor, Chinese Embassy in Nigeria, Jan Xiangdong, said this when he paid a visit to the Director General, NYSC, Brigadier General Sule Kazaure, in his office in Abuja. Olainka Ojo reports.
Describing Nigeria as a country with great potentials, having youths who are industrious, the Chinese Cultural Counselor, Zhang Jiandong, said there is need for more human capital training to boost growth and development. Mr. Jiandong noted that China plans to introduce investors to NYSC Skills Center so they can donate items, introduce programs, and get the youth corps members skilled in line with international standards.
In next 3 years, China will provide 500 quotas for the youth training program.
Director General NYSC, Brigadier General Sule Kazaure, commending the Chinese government for its support to Nigeria, added that the NYSC presently has skills centers in the geopolitical zones.
In our long-term plan, we want each state capital of the Federation to have a skill acquisition center.
It will be recalled that last year at the China-African Summit in Johannesburg, China agreed to train African youths. In Abuja, Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
And for happenings in the business world, Olainka is here with that.
Welcome to Business News. Oil prices steadied just above 3 months low on Thursday as producers continued to pump more than needed, filling inventories and economic growth prospects. U.S. government data showed a surprise rise in crude and gasoline inventories. The build added to an already huge global refined product glut, just as slowing economic growth dents the demand outlook. The Eurozone economy has remained surprisingly resilient to the shock of Britain's vote to leave the European Union. Fresh data showed on Thursday a big contrast to the UK, where signs of widespread economic pains are already apparent. Eurozone economic sentiment improved this month, defying expectations of a decline. Before we go, a quick check at closing figures on the floor of the stock market.
Dele Atumbi is standing by for stories from other parts of the globe.
Report from South Africa says at least 20,000 petroleum industry workers Thursday embarked on strike. A union official said pumps at filling station could run dry in the next 3 days. Employees who picketed outside refineries and Fiat Depot are pushing a 9% pay rise against a 7% offer from oil companies. The strike, however, has not stopped operations in the country's largest oil refinery. And from Turkey comes the report that 2 high-ranking generals resigned on the eve of Supreme Military Council meeting in protest against mass dismissal in the wake of failed coup of July 15. The affected generals handed in their resignations few hours to the meeting. Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Flamingos to begin final preparations ahead of this year's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Jordan, as the International Olympic Committee expects Brazil to host H-free Olympic Games. Kene Magbudike brings us more on Sports Update.
Ahead of the final preparations for the 5th FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup Jordan 2016, Coach Balanikiu has invited to camp 30 players who will arrive in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on Sunday. Team captain Rashidat Ajibade heralds the list, which also has Cynthia Ako, Esther Adeboye, Patricia Innocent, and Helen Oga. Nigeria, who were quarter-finalists at the 2010, 2012 and 2014 editions, have been drawn against Korea Democratic People's Republic, Brazil and England at the 5th edition of the competition starting in Jordan on the last day of September 2016. Newly elected National President of Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, Honor Sirako, says his administration will ensure that targets and agenda are set for national sports federations in order to help them grow. Sirako spoke to NTA Sports midweek in Abuja shortly after addressing FCT SWAN members.
Since part of our job is to engender development in sports, we should be able to negotiate a summit where we bring NFF, we bring ex-professionals, we bring critical stakeholders, we bring the representative of federal government. We are there and we begin to sit on the round table and talk.
President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, Wednesday played down problems with unfinished accommodation at the Olympics Village in Rio de Janeiro, saying he expects Brazil to host fantastic games.